Hi, good day to you, my dearest learners. How are you today? Fine? Well, oh, that's great. So, today we will be having another episode which contains another learning. So, today's lesson we will be having grammaring, grammaticalizing, error correction versus feedback, spoken grammar versus written grammar, grammatical assessment, and of course, pedagogical issues. So if you want to know more about these topics, so stay tuned, sit back and relax, and welcome to my channel. So welcome to our classroom for the meantime. So before I proceed to our first topic today, let me introduce to you the so-called grammar. So normally we define grammar as a set of rules, or it comprises with variety of rules. However, it is not just a set of rules that we can apply to any sentences with no regards to the context of use. So as we practice grammar, the existence of grammaring occurred. So, what is grammaring? So, grammaring is a skill. Yes, it is a skill that has a dynamic process of relating forms and structures of meaningful units. So, to simplify this one, it is a systematic procedure that has no stability at all. So, meaning it can change from time to time. Anytime it can be changed. As it said that it is a skill, basically it can be acquired by anyone since it is an ability of one's person to use grammar structures precisely, concisely, and meaningfully. So, as per research, this skill is already considered as the fifth macro skill, which emphasizes that it is way more important to have notion and focus on the usage of language rather than just knowing the language forms. The best way to cultivate our knowledge to use grammar structures is enabling yourself or ourselves to expose and engage towards active communication, public speaking, debate, and many more that can enhance our usage of grammar structures, not just for once, but constantly. Moreover, grammaring has this characteristic that can be changed anytime, just like what I said earlier, depending on the social linguistic environment that can be resulted onto modification of grammatical repertoire. So we're done to grammaring. Then let's proceed to grammaticalizing. So grammaticalizing is a verb which means an act to change a content word into function word. When turns into grammaticalization, it is the evolution of lexical category to grammatical one, or from functional category to another category. In other words, it is a procedure of changing a lexical word from object to action or vice versa. For an instance, grammaticalizing is a verb and grammaticalization is a noun. From its root word plus added by its suffixes or either suffixes or prefixes, it created another grammatical function. Furthermore, the presence of diverseness to the lexical item is a must, which can carry particular lexical meaning that will serve to express grammatical relationship between the various words in an articulation. So, let's proceed to error correction versus feedback. So, error correction and feedback are both requisite in the teaching approaches. And that makes them into positive and negative feedback. As what I have observed, if a teacher uses negative approach to correct, and the student or the recipient of that will take it negatively, that is when error correction takes place. Since the student take it pessimistically, so instead of helping, you are dragging your students down, that will end up him or her into paralysis. Nevertheless, if a teacher uses positive approach on correcting a student, obviously it will fall into feedback. Feedback is more helpful approach. It enables the teacher to correct his or her student, yet still manages to motivate the child in striving hard in order to achieve what he or she wants to become. After all, the usage of these two approaches must be balanced in order for it to have a better outcome. Error correction and feedback are inseparable. Down to our fourth one, which is spoken grammar versus written grammar. So first, let's talk about spoken grammar. Spoken grammar simply means that it is the elements of the grammar of conversation that have been noticed by the experts. It's usually unintentional and produced in a real time with no opportunity in editing, unlike written grammar. The occurrence of spoken grammar usually in the face-to-face, such as debate, public speaking, or even in the class participation. In addition, spoken grammar is having the same features as written grammar, which means spoken grammar has no special features at all. It is more flexible though, however, due to its characteristic of being flexible, there are a lot of errors committed that are unacceptable in written grammar. Meanwhile, written grammar must be accurately planned, organized, conceptualized, and precise since it is more strict and meticulous. It needs a lot of time since it is time-consuming. It also have fewer margin of errors and more fascinating vocabularies and formation in presenting ideas. In connection, there are grammatical structures that are almost exclusively in the written grammar. In general, both spoken and written grammar are in the same level. Superiority nor inferiority won't happen. So, we're down to our fifth one, which is grammatical assessment. So, grammatical assessment is the process in evaluating someone's grammar on how he or she uses it, or if he or she applies the correct usage on the four macro skills, which are listening, reading, writing, and speaking in acquisition of second language. In grammatical assessment, we must consider the three grammatical knowledges, namely structures of knowledge, grammatical meaning, and pragmatic meaning or use in a given context. First one, structures of a language. It talks about on how words are formed and how it related to linguistic aspect of a language. However, in grammatical meaning, it talks about the literal meaning and intended message that is addressed. It focuses on the meaningfulness of a language use. Lastly, pragmatic meaning. It is usually implies beyond the literal meaning depending on how it is used in contextual dimension. Also, it needs critical thinking. Assessing the grammar of the students is a great help in producing competent graduates. It is also one of the ways on competing globally in a greater scope. In the narrower scope, assessing grammar will help the teacher or the English teacher specifically onto where they need to focus and distinguish who are the students that need more guidance. We're down to our last one, which is pedagogical issues. So first, let me define pedagogy. Pedagogy is composed of methodologies in teaching that talks about techniques and strategies on how teachers teach their students. Nonetheless, when there are problems or barriers in using these pedagogies, then it will result to pedagogical issues. These pedagogical issues will constantly a barrier to have an effective and efficient practice in education and producing competent product. In today's new normal setup, there are some pedagogical issues, especially that we are now using online classes. This setup brings issues that hinders the students' opportunities to learn indispensable knowledge. One of the common concerns is the poor connection. Yes, indeed, even I is affected with this one. So since it is crucial in this time because most of the time we use internet connection, but due to that or due to the poor connection, we are not able to interact well or even not able to involve ourselves on the online discussion. Therefore, though pedagogical issues are inevitable, as a teacher and a student, we must find solution to at least lessen or supply the aspect that is affected by the issue. So that's all for today. Thank you for watching, and if you have some suggestions or some topics that you want me to discuss here in my YouTube channel, just comment down below, and don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell for you to be updated on my videos that I will be uploading only here in my YouTube channel. So thank you again for watching. Goodbye, co-learners!